All right, so today we're going deep on this Japanese astronomer, Munihisa Murayama.
Oh, yeah.
And, well, he's got quite the story.
Get the story, yeah.
Claims to have had not one, not two,
Right.
but 3 near-death experiences.
Wow.
You know, seeing the light, the tunnel,
The whole shoot.
the whole shebang, exactly.
Yeah, but Murayama's experiences,
Yeah.
they went a little bit further than your average...
A bit further, yeah.
Your average NDE.
A bit further, a bit further.
It's fascinating because, you know, we're talking about a scientist here.
Right, not some...
Not some mystic.
Not some mystic, yeah.
He's an astronomer dedicated to studying comets, you know?
Yeah.
A man of logic and observation.
Right.
And then he comes back from these near-death experiences with these stories that sound like they came straight out of, like, a sci-fi convention.
It's like, you know, he's looking at a comet through a telescope 1 minute.
Yeah.
And the next he's telling you about Atlantis and hanging out with dinosaurs. You can't make this stuff up.
You really can.
Or, well, maybe he did.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
let's start with that first near-death experience when he was 22.
Okay.
He describes the classic NDE tropes: darkness, a tunnel,
Right.
bright light,
Mm-hmm.
and suddenly he's in this peaceful meadow. Seems pretty standard, right?
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Fits the
Not
pattern.
the usual, yeah.
Yeah, but he doesn't just see it, he feels it.
Wow.
He talks about the soft earth under his feet, the grass between his toes,
Mm-hmm.
even rowing a boat across a river.
So it's not just visual.
No.
It's like full sensory.
Full sensory experience, yeah.
Wow. Sensory overload in the afterlife.
Apparently, and that's what's so interesting about it, is this vividness.
Right.
These sensory details. We see this a lot with NDE accounts.
Mhm.
And it makes you wonder, how can the brain, supposedly on the verge of shutting down,
Right. Yeah.
generate such elaborate experiences?
Yeah.
Some neuroscientists have suggested that specific brain regions might be activated during these experiences.
Okay.
Like the hippocampus, involved with memory and spatial navigation, creating this hyper-real feeling.
So our brains are throwing us a farewell rave
Yeah.
with all the special effects.
Yeah, with all the stops pulled out.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, Murayama collected some pretty interesting souvenirs from this trip.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, he describes meeting his deceased family members,
Mm.
including his grandparents,
Okay.
and a mysterious woman.
A mysterious woman.
Yes, who later turned out to be his deceased aunt.
Wow.
This idea of encountering loved ones in the afterlife.
Right.
It's another common theme in NDEs.
Yeah.
You know, it taps into this really deep human need for connection,
Right.
reassurance that death isn't the end, right?
Yeah, like a cosmic family reunion.
Exactly.
But hopefully with less awkward conversation.
Exactly. Haha. Less drama.
Right, less trauma, yeah.
But of course, the party can't last forever, right?
Right.
So Murayama describes this jarring experience,
Uh-huh.
snapping back into his body in the hospital bed.
Oh, wow.
You know, feeling his heartbeat fade,
Yeah.
realizing he's stopped breathing,
Wow.
and even more unsettling,
Yeah.
he sees his parents reacting to his apparent death.
Oh, so he's like watching them.
Watching them, yeah.
Oh, that's got to be rough.
That's gotta be rough.
Coming back from a lovely meadow stroll with your grandma.
Exactly.
And then your mom's freaking out thinking you're gone.
That's a mood killer for sure.
Yeah, talk about a buzzkill.
Yeah, this disorientation and detachment from the body.
Yeah.
It's another hallmark of NDEs. And it speaks to that potential disconnect between our physical and conscious selves.
Yeah, yeah.
Something that's fascinated philosophers and scientists forever.
And Murayama, being a scientist,
Right.
tries to make sense of it all.
Of course.
And this is where it gets really strange.
Okay.
He realizes he can apparently teleport.
Teleport.
Yeah, just using his thoughts.
Like time travel.
Yeah, like he's cracked the code of time travel.
So what does this mean for our understanding of time and space?
Right.
Could consciousness, under certain circumstances, transcend those limitations?
Yeah.
I mean, the theories abound,
Right.
quantum entanglement, alternate dimensions,
Right.
but the scientific jury's still out on this one.
Well, Murayama didn't wait for the jury's verdict.
Oh, no.
He put his time-traveling abilities to the test.
How so?
He focuses on a memory from his childhood.
All right.
A moment where he mysteriously saved his sister from a falling boulder. He remembers hearing a voice shout, "Danger!"
Right.
but never knowing where it came from.
And where did it come from?
Well, he thinks it was him, calling from the future.
Whoa.
To warn his past self.
So he's his own guardian angel.
I guess you could say that.
That's wild, this concept of self-influence across time.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Does it imply a predetermined destiny?
Right.
Or is there still room for free will? What are the ethics of interfering with your own past?
Right.
It's enough to give you a headache just thinking about it.
Yeah, my brain's already hurting. But wait, it gets wilder.
Oh, no.
He decides to take a peek into the future.
Into the future.
Yeah, wants to know if he makes it,
If he survives.
Yeah, survives all this cosmic chaos.
Right, and what does he see?
He sees himself as a professor teaching college students.
So he made it?
He made it. Seems to have it all.
A fulfilling career.
Yeah, maybe even tenure.
Ah, the dream.
Right. But there's a catch.
There's always a catch.
There's always a catch.
Right.
What is it? He describes this image of his happy future.
Yeah.
But it's like semi-transparent with another image underneath it.
Uh-oh.
An image of ruins.
The ruins.
Yeah, like a warning.
Okay,
a glimpse into a potential dystopian future.
Oh, that's unsettling.
Yeah, like, congratulations on your promotion. But also, watch out for the apocalypse.
Not exactly a positive career forecast.
No, not exactly.
So is the future fixed? Or are there multiple timelines branching out?
Yeah.
It's a concept we see a lot in science fiction.
Oh, yeah?
Back to the Future, The Man in the High Castle.
Yeah.
But what if it's more than just fantasy?
Well, Murayama needed more than a vision to convince himself.
Yeah.
He wanted proof, something tangible.
Oh.
He decides to leave a message in the past.
Okay.
A message he can find in the present.
Okay, interesting.
So he goes 500 years into the past
500 years.
to the Tozo Shinden Temple.
Okay.
He writes the kanji for his name, Hey, on one of the pillars
Right.
with a piece of charcoal.
Right.
When he wakes up back in his own time,
Yeah.
he goes back to the temple. It's faded, but still visible.
Wow.
And the temple records confirm it.
Confirm what?
That 500 years ago,
Yeah.
the character mysteriously appeared on the pillar one night.
So he left himself a message in the past.
Did.
A time-traveling graffiti artist.
Pretty much.
Wow, that's either incredibly clever or incredibly convenient.
Yeah, one or the other.
So he's really trying to make his mark on history.
Literally.
Sure.
Literally, yeah. But his next adventure makes time-traveling graffiti look like child's play.
Oh, really?
He goes way back 15,000 years
15,000 years.
to witness the Great Flood.
The Great Flood. Wow.
And what he finds is, well, let's just say it's not your grandma's Sunday school version of the story.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Tell me more. So picture this Earth submerged in water.
Like a giant swimming pool.
Yeah, more like a giant swimming pool than a planet.
Okay.
And instead of one lonely ark bobbing about, Murayama claims there were multiple Noah's Arks.
Multiple arcs.
Multiple arks, yeah, sailing this flooded world.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about your average wooden boats here.
Right.
He describes these arks as massive, complex structures.
Massive.
Yeah. Shaped like curled leaves.
Curled leaves.
Yeah, with 3 giant spheres inside.
3 giant spheres.
3 giant spheres inside, yeah.
Wow, this is not the ark from Sunday school.
No, this is something else entirely.
It's like someone took the biblical story, threw it in a blender with some alien tech,
Yeah,
and hit puree.
that's a good way to put it.
Right. This is far from the simple wooden vessel
Right.
described in religious texts.
It suggests a level of technology that we don't usually associate with ancient civilizations.
Yeah, at least not according to mainstream archaeology.
Right. Of course, there are those who believe that ancient cultures possess knowledge and technologies far beyond what we understand,
Right.
and that evidence of these advanced civilizations has been lost or deliberately suppressed.
Okay, so we're going into conspiracy theory territory.
A little bit, yeah.
But let's play along. If not humans, then who built these super arcs?
Well, Murayama claims they were built by the Atlanteans.
The Atlanteans.
The Atlantes.
Atlantis.
Right. The mythical city.
The lost city.
Lost beneath the waves.
Yeah.
A repository of advanced knowledge and technology.
Maybe even the source of all those UFO sightings.
Who knows? Maybe they had underwater Wi-Fi down there.
Underwater Wi-Fi. Now, that's something I could get behind.
Right.
But Murayama says Atlantis wasn't just a myth. He describes these Atlanteans as giants.
Giants?
Yeah, who lived for hundreds of years.
Hundreds of years?
And possessed technology beyond our wildest dreams.
What kind of technology?
They domesticated dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
Built flying machines. And even colonized other planets.
Wow, it's like Jurassic Park meets Star Wars.
Right.
With a dash of ancient aliens thrown in.
Sounds more like a Hollywood blockbuster
It does, doesn't it?
than a scientific account.
But maybe Murayama just had really good taste in movies.
Maybe. Maybe.
While the idea of Atlanteans riding dinosaurs and zipping around in spaceships might seem outlandish,
Yeah.
it does tap into our fascination with the possibility that humanity has achieved greater heights in the past,
Right.
than we currently recognize. There are those who believe that evidence of these advanced civilizations has been deliberately hidden or destroyed to maintain control over the narrative of human history.
A global conspiracy to cover up the existence of dinosaur-riding Atlanteans.
Uh-huh. It sounds pretty wild, doesn't it?
That's a lot to take in.
It is.
But hey, stranger things have happened, right?
You never know.
Speaking of strange, let's get back to the Great Flood.
Okay.
Murayama claims it was caused by a comet
A comet?
that nearly collided with Earth.
Oh, wow.
The comet's ice melted, raising sea levels and wiping out most of Atlantis.
Okay.
And get this, he says the moon
The moon.
is actually the remnant core of that comet.
So the moon, our moon,
is
a giant icy space rock.
basically, yeah.
That's not what the textbooks say.
No, the conventional theory is that it was created from debris
Right.
after a Mars-sized object collided with Earth.
Billions of years ago.
Right, the giant impact theory.
Yeah.
But Murayama's got a different take.
Okay.
He believes the moon's been negatively impacting Earth.
Negatively impacting.
Yeah, and its inhabitants.
Since when?
Ever since it showed up.
Oh, wow.
He says it's disrupted our natural
A
rhythm,
natural rhythm?
shortened our lifespans,
Hmm.
made us more prone to fear and anxiety.
So he blames the moon for everything,
Pretty much.
from bad hair days to global warming.
You got it.
Sounds like someone needs to stage a lunar intervention.
Right?
But jokes aside, his claims do raise some interesting questions.
Like what?
What if the moon's presence has had a more profound effect on us than we realize?
Uh-huh.
There's evidence that the moon's gravitational pull influences the tides,
Right.
animal behavior, even human sleep patterns.
Huh?
Could it be that its impact goes even deeper, affecting our biology and psychology in ways we're only beginning to understand?
That's a little unsettling.
It is a bit, isn't it?
But I'm not quite ready to give up my full moon rituals just yet.
Uh-huh. Fair enough.
Now, let's move on to Murayama's perspective on the origin of life.
Okay.
He claims that Earth's original water,
Original water.
the water that existed before the Great Flood,
Okay.
had the potential to generate life,
Interesting.
while the water brought by the comet did not.
So there's like a special ingredient in Earth's original recipe for life.
Yeah, something that got diluted by the cosmic floodwaters.
That's a fascinating concept.
It is.
It suggests that life on Earth might have emerged from specific conditions that existed before the flood.
Right.
Conditions that were altered or disrupted by this extraterrestrial water?
So what if these original conditions still exist somewhere?
Somewhere.
Yeah, maybe in deep underground aquifers
Okay.
or isolated ecosystems.
What if there's a different kind of life hidden right under our noses?
A hidden world teeming with weird, undiscovered life forms.
Exactly.
That's both exciting and terrifying.
I know, right?
Like finding out your attic is inhabited by a family of friendly but slightly creepy raccoons.
Uh-huh. The perfect analogy.
It challenges our view of life.
And suggests that we might not be alone, even on our own planet.
Right. But hold on, because Murayama's explanation of the origin of the universe
Yeah.
takes things to a whole new level.
Okay, what is it?
Forget the Big Bang.
The Big Bang.
Expanding universe, all that.
Okay.
According to Murayama, it all started with consciousness.
Consciousness.
A primordial consciousness
Yeah.
that somehow went wonky.
Went wonky.
And poof, out popped the first particles.
So the universe is just a giant thought bubble?
It's a concept that resonates with certain spiritual and philosophical traditions.
Right, the idea that consciousness is fundamental to reality.
Yeah.
Existing before the physical universe.
Exactly. It's mind-blowing.
It is, isn't it? So Murayama believes this primordial consciousness somehow caused a cosmic distortion
A cosmic distortion.
that gave rise to the first particles, the building blocks of all matter.
It's a creative explanation.
It is.
And if consciousness is indeed fundamental to the universe...
Does that mean the universe is aware?
Whoa.
And if so, what does that mean for us?
Right.
Are we just passengers on this cosmic joyride?
Or do we play a more active role?
Yeah, it's a lot to think about.
I'm going to need a break after this.
Uh-huh, me too.
But before we do, let's explore Murayama's thoughts on individual souls
Okay.
and the afterlife.
The afterlife.
He believes individual souls are temporary expressions.
Temporary expressions?
Of this primordial consciousness.
Okay.
Returning to it after death.
Like drops of water rejoining the ocean?
Exactly, but there's a twist.
A twist.
He doesn't see hell as a fiery pit.
No.
But as a self-inflicted experience.
What do you mean?
Where you relive the pain you've caused others.
You relive the pain.
Before merging back into the collective.
So it's like a cosmic karma cleanse.
I guess you could say that.
You confront the consequences of your actions.
Right.
Not to appease some angry deity.
Right.
But to purify your soul before returning to the source.
That's heavy. It's a concept found in many spiritual traditions.
From Buddhism to Native American beliefs.
So no escaping your bad karma, even in the afterlife.
Apparently not.
That makes you think twice about cutting people off in traffic.
Aha, it does, doesn't it?
Or stealing that extra cookie from the break room.
It encourages us to be more mindful of our actions.
Right.
And their impact on others.
For sure.
It suggests that our journey of growth and learning doesn't end with physical death, but continues in some form in the afterlife.
That's either comforting or terrifying.
Depends on how you look at it.
True. But hold on, there's one more aspect of Murayama's experiences that I find intriguing.
What's that?
His theory about the role of future selves.
Future selves.
He suggests that those moments of incredible luck or fortune might actually be interventions by our future selves.
What?
Returning to help us through challenging moments.
So like a guardian angel.
Kind of, but it's you from the future.
Wow.
It's like having a cosmic insurance policy against total disaster.
That's an interesting way to think about it.
But it also raises questions about free will.
Right. Are we just puppets dancing to a predetermined destiny?
Or is there room for improvisation?
The age-old debate of fate versus free will.
Exactly.
Murayama's experiences seem to suggest a blend of both. He claims to have traveled through time, altering his past, glimpsing his future, but he also emphasizes learning from our mistakes.
And becoming better versions of ourselves?
Right, so maybe it's not either, but both hand.
Both hand.
We have a predetermined path, but the freedom to choose how we walk it.
How we learn and grow.
Exactly, like choosing your own adventure, but with a cosmic twist.
That's a great way to put it.
So we have both a destiny and a responsibility.
A destiny and a responsibility.
To fulfill our potential and make choices that align with our highest good.
Not just for ourselves, but for all versions of ourselves across time.
Exactly.
So if we could chat with our future selves, what advice would they give us?
I don't know. What do you think?
What wisdom have they gleaned from experiences we haven't lived yet?
Maybe they'd tell us to take more risks, to follow our passions.
To be kinder to ourselves and others.
Well, maybe they'd just say, buckle up, kid. It's going to be a wild ride.
Right.
It's fun to think about.
It is. Maybe they'd tell us to invest in Bitcoin back in 2010.
Or to finally learn that instrument we've always wanted to play.
Or maybe they'd just give us a knowing smile and say, trust yourself, you'll figure it out.
That's nice.
It is.
Ultimately, I think the wisdom of our future selves might be less about specific instructions and more about reassurance and encouragement.
Reassurance and encouragement.
And a reminder that we're on the right track.
Even when it feels like we're stumbling.
Exactly. A message of hope and resilience.
Whispered across time.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've been through a lot with
we have
Munihisa Murayama.
A lot.
This astronomer who's got some pretty wild ideas.
Some wild ideas about the universe.
Time travel. Atlantis?
Yeah, Atlantis.
A moon with a grudge?
Right, and don't forget the dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah, the dinosaurs.
As pets.
As pets.
That's a pretty wild image.
It is. It really is.
But for me, one thing stands out from all of this.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
This idea that those lucky breaks we get in life might be our future selves helping us out.
It's like having a cosmic guardian angel.
Exactly. A wiser, more experienced you looking out for you.
Making sure you don't make the same mistakes they did.
Exactly.
But it makes you wonder about free will, right?
Yeah. Are we really in control?
Or are we just playing out a script that's already been written?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Fate versus free will, the classic debate.
And Murayama's experiences don't really give us a clear answer.
No, they don't, do they?
He talks about traveling through time.
Right.
Changing his past, seeing glimpses of his future.
But he also stresses the importance of learning from our mistakes.
And making choices to become better versions of ourselves.
So maybe it's not an either situation.
Maybe it's both.
Maybe we have a predetermined path.
But with the freedom to choose how we walk it.
To learn and grow along the way.
It's like a choose your own adventure.
but with cosmic consequences.
Exactly.
So we have a destiny to fulfill.
It's also a responsibility.
To make the right choices, not just for ourselves,
but for all versions of ourselves across time.
So if we could sit down with our future selves.
Yeah, imagine that.
What advice would they give us?
What would they say?
Would they warn us about certain mistakes?
Encourage us to take certain risks.
What wisdom would they share?
Maybe they'd tell us to be kinder.
Or more patient.
To appreciate the little things.
To follow our dreams.
Or maybe they just say, don't sweat the small stuff, it all works out in the end.
That'd be nice.
It would, wouldn't it?
I think the most important advice they could give us.
Yeah.
Is to trust ourselves.
To have faith in our own journey.
And to know that we're not alone in this crazy cosmic dance.
That's a great message.
It is. It really is.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have, from time travel to Atlantis.
From the origins of life to the nature of consciousness.
And we've explored some pretty big questions.
Questions that have puzzled humanity for centuries.
And while we might not have all the answers,
the journey of exploration is what matters.
Murayama's experiences, whether we believe them or not,
encourage us to expand our perspectives.
To embrace the mystery and wonder of the universe.
And to consider the possibility that reality might be far stranger than we ever imagined.
And far more interconnected.
Exactly.
And who knows, maybe someday we'll get to meet our future selves.
And get some first-hand advice.
Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning.
And keep diving deep.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.